It's bizarre, but it speaks to the human condition. It speaks to what we are. We're so complicated and twisted.
Yeah, we are. And it's not like this is a new phenomenon, right? I mean, riches have been built across the global north on the shoulders of degraded people in the global south for centuries.
Right. We just like to pretend that that's not the case today when it might be the worst case.
You know, the interesting thing is, in some ways, this truth that we're talking about is uglier and more violent and harmful than slavery in the 1700s, because we claim to live in a time when everyone has equal human rights.
Right.
And we're all created equal and treated equal. And, you know, it's the hypocrisy that makes it so much more repugnant. You know, back then, it's like, well, they are fit to be slaves. And it was the way of things. And that doesn't excuse it, you know, but the violence had some kind of mental and social, even religious justification centuries ago. And it took a band of enlightened people to say, no, that's not right. And abolitionists fought and won freedom for slaves in the world. Or did they? You know, because now we live in a time where you can't legally own another person or exploit them like a slave on any patch of this planet. And yet it happens at the bottom of our global economic order more than people realize. And what's important about cobalt is it's kind of the distillation of centuries of this arc. Because as I said, there's never been a single example of worse suffering that generates more money and touches the lives of more people around the world than this right here.
The intense hypocrisy of this age we're living in, especially in this country, where we're so focused on social justice and we're so focused on equality and treating people with kindness and dignity, and the fact that we're talking about this and communicating on this on devices that were constructed by slaves.
Yeah.